everybody. I hope you're having a good new year. This is Schmitty's Kettle here, and welcome to 2025. I'm just laying low till March comes around, and my first event's going to be the Annapolis Boat Show. In fact, this year I got a lot of new events, and I do a lot of fundraisers now. Last year, or the 2 years before, I did like only two fundraisers, and then after that, the recommendations kept flowing in from PTA people, and that has been a great moneymaker. In fact, in 7 months last year, I sold 4,000 bags of popcorn and pork rinds in 7 months. So today we're going to talk about what my average sales are for the day. And if you want to follow me, please subscribe and like my videos, guys. I don't like to do things scripted, and I sometimes speak and I have this weird way of speaking sometimes, so I don't like doing the scripted thing. So please follow along. I give a lot of good advice. A lot of people really appreciate that, and if you don't, then then go watch something else. More power to you. So, anyways, so I started this business back in 2018, and I have now been doing this now for 7 years. And I started this business 13 years ago, and I moved to Maryland and started my own business. Now, when I first just started getting started, I first needed to think about, okay, I have this money in me. I actually had a former client of mine invested me $5,000 to get started. I was a caregiver, and I asked my former boss that I had trouble with my anxiety and my disabilities, and I kept getting fired. I lost 40 jobs or more in 1 year, and was really facing depression, and this business really saved my life. So I really appreciate the positive feedback from people, and if you're disabled and want to start a business, more power to you. And I really encourage people who are also disabled to start businesses. I wish I had more of an income and more of a way to financially help people get started, but for right now, I'm doing what I can. And so I really like giving back to people who are like me in my situation. So I was very lucky to get a $5,000 check to get started. So when I first started my business, I actually knew a little bit about the markets already, because before I moved from California to Maryland, I did about 1,000 markets in 4 years, and that's how I knew from a sales perspective and being in sales that this is how I'm going to grow my business. This is how I'm going to turn it from a hobby into an actual business, and to where I can make a living on it. So with that, it was the first 2 years were really rough. So my first piece of advice for people who are just starting out, and if you're feeling defeated, you will get to feel I have that feeling. That's never going to go away. There are days where I have, even now after 7 years, I still have those $25 days. They're just not nearly as much as they were before. And weather is a big factor. There are just so many factors in having a successful day. It's almost like, the damn planets have to align for you to have a really goddamn good kettle corn day. My excuse my language, but it's really frustrating when you go out to a market, you check the weather constantly, like you're obsessive compulsively checking the weather. I'm sure you're not the only ones here who do that. And then go to the market and it's gonna be sunny out, and then you get to the market, you get fully set up, and then it pours down rain, and then there goes your day. So with that, in fact, this year I'm going to actually calculate all of my sales every day, even my events. And events are actually quite different than actual farmers markets versus flea markets versus retail. There are a lot of ways for you to actually make money. I actually do a mixture of both. I do events, and I do farmers markets. And this year I plan on doing some retail. I actually got into some bars. I actually have 3 or 4 bars lined up to where I can make some more money. And I am trying to figure out ways to best be able to, number one, legally diversify my business to where I can make money and not get in trouble with the health department. These are all things that are very tricky to do in this business, especially when you're trying to work with the cottage food law as well. So let's get right to it, you guys. My chart here is actually on the right here. And in this category here, I have a $500 to $700 day. Now, my eventual goal, adding pork rinds to my menu, has greatly increased my averages, and diversifying what I sell has really helped. When I first started back in 18, was when I first started, and I only made kettle corn. A $200 day, $300 day was a good day. Now I do 4 to 5 flavors fresh, and I have other flavors that I've made from the day before. I also want to maybe expand it to maybe 5 or 10, and then I am doing pork rinds, and I want to do cracklings this year. I also do cotton candy, and so with the menu that I have now, I do 1 bag for 8, 2 for 15, or 3 for 20, and that has greatly expanded my sales to where I have people. Oh, I can actually buy some pork rinds and cotton candy and kettle corn, and so I have little meal deals where if you buy more, you get a discount. So with that being said, if the planets are aligned, like I said, and you have a great day for weather, and the attendance is great, everybody's and their mother's out, and they want to buy something, um, all of the vendors are there as well, and you show up on time, you have a good night's rest, your employee shows up on time, and everybody's in a good mood. There's ways to set up success for the day. So when you get to the market, especially a market is 4 hours long. So you have a market that's four. In fact, now that I've moved here to my area, my markets are actually 10 minutes away. So I have a 30 minute to an hour drive. Then I have it set up for 4 hours, or for 1 hour. I give myself 1 hour to set up, and I get everything prepared the way I want my booth set up. And I set up everything the same way every time. So that way, when I have a helper who helps me, eventually it's going to be like, it's like riding a bike. You have a hard time doing it first, but then once you know where everything is, it's like cakewalk. In fact, we can actually, my helper and I, this year can actually get everything done in about probably 30 minutes. And so and then in the morning I pop out all the popcorn. I do about probably $300 to $400 with the popcorn, and then around 10 or 11 or so, before the lunch rush comes, I get the pork rinds ready, and then I have pork rinds probably made from before, and I can easily go between 30 or so bags of popcorn and 30 or so bags of pork rinds. And then in between, I sell cotton candy. And if you buy more than one, sometimes I have friends who come by, and I have regular customers and kids who say, I buy from you all the time, and I said, here, just have some cotton candy for free. In fact, the cotton candy is so lowly costly that compared to the other products that it's like, if it makes a kid happy, sometimes if you buy, 3 bags or 4 bags, I'll just give you some cotton candy for free. So there's all these little things that I kind of do to keep my customers happy. I also like and believe in giving discounts. That was a huge thing back then. When I used to work for somebody else, I used to get into trouble for getting discounts. But I don't know. I think it promotes people to buy more, even if it's $1 off. If I make $3 or $4 and I give them $1 off, if it pushes them over the edge, then what is it to you that I give the dollar off? I mean, I guess, but if I'm working for somebody else, they could probably say that it's like stealing. So, anyways, so with an excellent day, that's $500 to $700, and that is everything lined up. And here I'll go into the costs as far as what the costs are. My market costs are also a factor in these good days here too. So I basically do a starting point for myself at $200 for the day. That is my breaking even point. So at this point, when I do a farmer's market, if I make more than $200, that's when I say, okay, good, I'm out of the hole. Because number one, if I have my helper getting paid $20 an hour and they're getting paid for 4 to 5 hours of work, so that's 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, then that's 5 hours right there, and I'm negative out of the hole right there. Now, there are some days where I can actually go by myself. Now, if you can do this business and go by yourself, or if you can pop out some kids and some family and have that free labor, I always laugh and joke about that. I know it's sad, but I always like, man, I see these kids next to me sometimes who sell. I'm like, well, that's why they have kids, man. They have that free labor, man. So, anyways, but I pay $20 an hour cash. I'm not in a position right now yet to pay taxes on that, so that's a whole other story. But there's that part of it, and then there's the buying of the supplies. So with buying the supplies, I factor in $100 right there. So the supplies part of it is also important too, because I have backup propane tanks, for example. I have always corn on the side just in case my supplier runs out. So, a bag of corn is about $45, $30 to $45, depending on which brand you buy. The oil's $17 or $19. The sugar is about $20. The propane tank's about $20. So I factor that in, of course, and then you also have the bags and the labels and things like that. But those are the costs that I factor in. And then after that, then that's when, okay, then I can get paid. And then after the $500 mark, that's when I give my commission, my helper commission. And then that's when I say, hey, here's 30, 40 bucks, here's 5% of sales. And in fact, and then commission. And then my helper also gets tips and trades. And then on really good days, if we're at events and stuff like that, I'll treat for lunch. And so I try to do my best with my helpers. if you treat me the way I want to be treated, then if you scratch your back, then that's how I'm going to scratch my back. And this has really worked well into the way I do things. Now, there's also other factors too, like the weather, and sometimes there's other factors like things like other things in town, like events. So we'll get into that too, to where this is going to affect your days. And also, besides the fact of the slower days, there's also the extreme heats, and then there's this days that are just so bad, you just gonna just stay home. Just cancel the day and stay home. So let's get into that too, guys. Advice for people who are gonna have a bad day or have maybe a few bad days, especially in my area. It rains a lot in Maryland, and then every person has their areas, whether it be a fire or a flood or a lot of weather. So basically, what I do now that I've gotten to the point to where I've gotten pretty good at doing my business, for so many years now, is that on good days I save. I put some money aside. I say, hey, let me put $50 or $70 in my credit card and put some money in my bills now. Let me pay, my electricity bill first, and let me pay this out. So then that way, if I pay my bills ahead of time and put the money in savings for things like a rainy day, then if I take a rainy day off, then hey, I'm not so upset about it. Like before, when I first started, if I had a rainy day, man, I wouldn't be able to pay a bill, or I wouldn't be able to fill my gas tank. So now I do things like, okay, let's fill up my gas tank first. Let's go get myself some groceries. Let's make myself, and then on a really good day, I'm gonna have, I'm gonna buy myself some ribs or some really good steak, tenderloin or whatever. So there's all these things that I've done over the years where I've helped secure myself to where I can pretty much do a pretty good job of this for 10 months out of the year, and this is great. The one thing that I will also do down the road is also a video on events, because events is a whole another ballpark that I've learned doing this by myself versus working for another company, and it's a lot different than a farmer's market, whereas you have a lot less risk. So that's the other thing, is why I like starting at a market. If you have a market, even if it's small, even if you want to do it just one day, this is a great way for you to sit there and see, okay, well, how do I have this set up? Let me see how I have this positioned. Let me see if I can even sell a bag to a customer. Offer a sample. See what you can do to be in your community, and you can really make a difference. So this is my advice for people who are starting out. Thanks, guys, for following me. Thanks for watching my channel. I really appreciate it. So again, with these bad days, the best thing to do is, if it's worst comes to worst, staying home. I hate going out when it's really rainy out, as I just showed you in this video earlier, where all of my equipment just gets ruined, and I even had my iPad broke one year because it got waterlogged, and it's just a big pain, shutting everything down, getting everything ready. And so with that, I always say, if it's raining, if you know for sure, like if it's over a 60% chance of rain, then just stay home. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys are going to have a good year this year. I would like to know if you are some of these veteran old-timers. I'd love to have you guys be some guests on my show. If you guys are just starting out and want to be a guest on my show too, I'd love to see some people, talk to them about their business and what their area is like, see what kind of problems and logistics they run into. Of course, we're going to have to deal with the terrorists this year. So there's a lot of things that are coming up that I'm going to talk about to see about, how to improve on my channel. And I think I've been doing a pretty good job. And I really appreciate all of you guys' feedback and support. Thanks again, you guys. This is Shmini's Kettlecorn. Follow me on YouTube. I'm also going to get a Patreon channel going, and I'll put that in the link below. You can support me by sending me some Venmo. I'll always take some money there. And I'm eventually going to do a gourmet caramel corn program where if you subscribe to my channel, I'm gonna set up my gourmet area, but I don't have a production place yet. So that's going to hopefully happen this year. I'm also going to talk to you about my goals for the future. I hope to have a retail place eventually down the road. So thanks a lot for following me, guys. Have a good year, and let's get popping.